Hello and welcome back to another Satisfactory video. Recently I uploaded a little demo of a build I did for my quickwire factory that included the giant quickwire spool wall, some curved foundations, and a few little other tricks like angled walls. And I wanted to share how I did those things because I got a few questions about them. So the first thing I want to share is how I did the diagonal parts of the foundation. Now, normally when you build a foundation next to another foundation, it'll snap to that edge so that you continue on, and it's really convenient for building nice square foundations, which are kind of boring. If you hold Control like I'm doing, you can move those pieces on top of the existing foundation without them snapping like this. And then if you place it in the very corner and use your mouse scroll, you can rotate these things. You can use the vertical nudge to push them down and line them up with the same level as the rest of the foundation. So here I've got it rotated. I can move it. You move it 4 in and 4 to the side and it'll line up perfectly, and then we can just zoop this out. Now you'll notice all the way at the end here it doesn't quite match up, so you only want to zoop some halfway point and then start and do the process over again. So it keeps the same angle. And now we can push that down, scoot it in, scoot it over, and finish off the zoop. Now, that corner is perfectly lined up now, so we don't have a gap, but we do have one here. And to fix that, all we really need to do is clip right here. Now I have a nice diagonal edge that's smooth and matches up with the rest of the foundation. So this next technique is going to be about building round foundations. Now this is something a lot of people ask about, and you can use the mouse wheel to turn foundations by 5 degrees per click of your mouse wheel. So we've got a foundation angle of about 10 degrees. And then I can use the same trick to just move this over that I did with the diagonal. Now I could keep building this diagonal, or I can continue to put another one down. It will start off at the same angle, so I can just nudge it down, nudge it over. And if I do that over and over again, I'm going to keep adding that 10-degree angle that I started with every single time. Now, in 1.0, you didn't have the vertical nudge, so this took an extra step of building a guide foundation, building your curve, and then building a lot of other foundations below it. Then you'd have to go back up and remove the guide foundation. So in 1.1, this is much faster. So it takes us no time to get here to the end. Now, once you place the last one, it will wrap around and be parallel with the rest of the foundation that you started from. So you can zoop that out and just finish off that build and fill up all the other foundations. You get this nice curve going on here. You can do that with any angle. The tighter you make it, the more ragged it's going to be, but they look pretty good, especially from a distance, and then you can use these as guides to start building walls. All right, the next technique I want to talk about is how to build the angled walls. Now I'm using a painted beam, and you put it into this freeform build mode, and that'll let you drag it from any one point to any other point. And once you freeze that, you can nudge it around and then get it exactly where you want it lined up. Just a little bit of nudge and it's hidden completely behind that foundation, and I've got a nice curve. But you can't really build walls with that. So I'm going to go in and grab the small concrete pillar. And once you have the painted pillar, it will snap to that, and I can build there, then I can zoop in the rest of the wall. And that's basically what you need to do. Now, if you want to extend that wall beyond just one pillar, you select that, and you can get the hologram where it goes red and lines up with the previous one. Freeze it, then we're going to just nudge it over, build a zoop, and repeat that as needed. Sometimes this can be a little challenging just to get the holograms where you want, so you may have to nudge multiple ways, multiple times, but that's basically it. And you put these together and you've got a nice, solid wall. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is how I did the big spool. Now, basically, you can't do this one very easily in 1.1. There's some, you can get kind of close, but it requires a lot of work because you're stuck with these build modes like auto. And they make these flat angles. Even Noodle doesn't give you quite what you want. But Curve, when you put two fairly evenly spaced things next to each other and you build a curved pipe through them, you're going to get a really nice angle just like this. And so you can build really good circles using these. Now on the quickwire spool, I did this with 2 layers so you wouldn't see the gaps between the pipes. And you don't have to do that, or you could put a wall behind it or something else, but I think it looks really good when you do the layers. So I'll show you how to offset that. Now, you can use any kind of mount point that you want. You can use the stackable. I like those because they have a nice spacing already. You can use the floor or wall holes as well. As long as you can attach it to something and you have the ability to nudge it around, then you'll get something that looks pretty nice. The important thing is you get a 1 pipe offset. Once you have all of these in, then you can see that it looks really nice. I kind of messed up the positioning on these, so they're not quite there, and you can see I got this little weird angle. But you really can't see that from the front, so I'm just going to leave that the way it is for this. If I were building this for real, I'd go ahead and remove it, fix it. But once you're done with this, you can remove these guide mounts, and that will make it look really smooth. So we're going to take these all out. Now, let's say we take these out and get that last one, and now we have a nice curved wall. Now, something I really like about this is that you don't have to do it with a perfectly well lined up set of mount points. So I've got 5 on the left, 5 on the right, and one of them is at an angle and the other one is straight up and down, and the heights aren't exactly matched for these because of the way that they're lined up. And this is going to produce a really cool effect when we build from one to the other, but you have to be careful to build from the same side each time, otherwise it's going to look funny. I'll show you what that looks like. So you just build it over. Well, if it'll connect. So if I build it the wrong way, if I start from the right and I build it to the left, you're going to get a different curve. They're just set up differently. And this doesn't look good. So I'm going to replace that. Now there we go. So I really like this shape. I think this looks like I'm imagining some giant like robot rib cage or cooling pipes on some space cruiser or something. I think this is a really cool technique. I'd love to see what other people put together with this. So if you like this and you find it useful, build something cool, share an image. I'd love to see what you do. If you found any of these building techniques useful, go ahead and like and subscribe. That'll help out a lot. Let me know that people are watching. Thank you very much. As always, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Bye.